For those of you who wants to start meditation or have already started but realize that it's kinda hard to actually sit down and do nothing, I made this video for you. So let me begin with why should we meditate? What's so cool about it? The short answer to that is you will gain like literally superhuman powers that very few people in this world actually possess. When I say superhuman, I'm not saying you could start levitating on air or flying off into space just like that. Meditation would give you a level of clarity, understanding, and insight into yourself that you wouldn't have otherwise. The Chinese ancient philosopher Lao Tzu used to say, "Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, they become your destiny." Many of you might believe that your destiny was already predetermined before you were even born in this world. But according to Lao Tzu, at the root of your destiny lies your thoughts. If you generally have negative thoughts in your mind, you are more likely to say all the negative things that happen in your life. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm shit. I can't freaking do anything. Nobody loves me. You keep saying these words over and over again until you eventually believe them, that you're no good. Because you believe them so much, these words then lead to actions. Because you believe that you're inherently unlovable, even when there's good evidence that someone is in fact paying attention to you, you would quickly dismiss it as, "I don't deserve it," and walk away from potentially good relationships. Then the more you do this, the more it becomes a habit. The more it becomes a habit, the more it quickly seeps into your character. And before you know it, it has become the story of your life. The story of someone unlovable. It also works the other way around. Positive thoughts lead to positive words, positive actions, positive habits, positive character, and eventually, a good, happy life. The thoughts in your mind are extremely subtle. You know it exists, but most of the time you're not even aware that these thoughts are actually taking place and actually controlling your every behaviors from behind the scenes. Meditation is basically a practice to be more aware and mindful of these subtle thought patterns that have been directing your life. Meditation has the potential to transform your life for the better by increasing your awareness of what's going on inside your mind. That's why I consider it as superhuman powers. Anyway, before we go deeper into this, as usual, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. That would be fantastic. These are my few tips for a great meditation. Remember, everything in life takes practice. At the beginning, obviously you would suck at anything you're trying to do. The first time you learn to drive, you would suck at it. The first time you learn to cook, it probably doesn't taste good. The first time you meditate, probably it doesn't last longer than 5 minutes before your thoughts start wandering off, your legs start going numb, and the mosquitoes are freaking bothering you. Just like anything in life, meditation is a practice. The first time around, it's perfectly normal to be totally distracted by the little sensations going on in your body. But the more you do it, the more you will get the hang of it. Remember to start really small. At the beginning, you might have heard about a business monk who meditates for hours on end and you were saying, "Yeah, that sounds exciting." But when rubber hits the road, you wouldn't even last more than 5 minutes and you would say, "He's a monk alright. I can't be like him." Let me assure you, the first time these monks meditate, it's likely they have the same problems as you, but they just keep going and practicing until they manage to do it for such a long duration. Endurance is not something innate. It's something that's practiced. So lower your expectations when you're just starting out on your meditation journey. Don't expect yourself to have the endurance of some of these monks straight away. Spread yourself thin over a longer period of say 10 years. Ask yourself, if you meditate for 5 minutes every single day, what kind of results would you get in 10 years? Start small but consistent. Then when 5 minutes feels like a piece of cake to you, you would gradually move to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 20 minutes, and so on. One of the tricks the mind likes to do in order to stop you from meditating is making you believe in the urgency of the stuff you need to do later in the day. First, you have a goal of having a silent mind. But when you can stop thinking of that one email that you need to reply, that cheeseburger that's waiting for you on the table, the work that needs to get done, the dentist appointment and whatnot, meditation might feel like an impossible business. These might be urgent things that you need to do, but you can always give meditation 5 minutes of your time. It's only 5 minutes. That's why it's always best to meditate early in the morning. If you meditate in a busy afternoon, in the middle of a hectic office space, you are more likely to get into the same mindset of stress and frenzy. But if you do it in the morning, when everything's still fresh and peaceful and calm, it's so much easier to get into the meditative mood. Before you begin to meditate, it's always good to practice some resolve. Say to yourself something like, the next 5 minutes or so is only going to be meditation. I'm not gonna do anything else but meditate. This way, you are more likely to give yourself the mental space needed for a more productive meditation session. Okay, so far we've covered the more basic stuff. Let's go a little deeper. One of the biggest hurdles to meditation is when your thoughts start wandering off. Have you ever gone into meditation only to realize that you have spent the entire time totally lost in your train of thoughts? I'm sure you have. This is what's often called the identification with your mind. Identification is a kind of self-forgetfulness or even a self-hypnosis in which there is no separation between you and your thoughts, during which you are under the spell of the programming of your mind. You lose any sense of yourself because you're so identified with your thoughts and emotions. If an angry thought comes up in your mind, you wouldn't be able to stop for a moment and realize that you have this angry thought. You would just be furious and lash out. Obviously, this kind of self-hypnosis is one of the main reasons why we meditate. If someone puts us under a magic spell, we are indefinitely bound to the wishes of that person. Then we are not free to do anything that we initially set out to do. Likewise, our strong identification with our thoughts also binds us to patterns of behaviors that don't serve our aims. Say you're a businessman who's completely identified with his thoughts and emotions. You are in a business deal with someone that could make you potentially millions of dollars, and you absolutely want to get this deal over the line. But there's something about the guy that just irritates you. You keep thinking, this guy is a freaking jerk. I don't think I could ever work with him. That's precisely the moment that could either make or break the deal. That's precisely the moment when you choose to either identify or disidentify with your thoughts. If you are completely identified with it, you wouldn't even realize that you are having such negative thoughts about the other guy. After you snap out of it, you realize the business room is already empty. The meeting has ended. What happens? Oh yeah, I remember. I could still feel the sharp sting on my palm right after I slapped him. I fucked up, didn't I? But we don't want to be like that businessman who can't separate himself from his emotions. We want to be the businessman who's aware of his aim at all times, which is get the deal done and bring the dollars home despite any deep resentment. The trick that most people are missing out on is we can actually leave our thoughts be as they are without acting on them. Our reactions are not necessary if we don't wish to react, or if we realize that the consequences would be far more undesirable. Meditation is able to give you that small window of awareness that allows you to evaluate the entire situation, remembering what your ultimate aim is, while not letting your thoughts and emotions take charge. Everything is being witnessed. The real practice of meditation is the art of witnessing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations that take place in you. Simply by witnessing, you can simply watch your thoughts go by, just like clouds passing by, without your reactions. You simply let them go. Any negative thoughts that you have about yourself, you simply watch them go. Any negative thoughts that you have about someone else, you can let them slide without any reactions. Eventually, you would begin to realize that these thoughts are not the real you. They are simply a set of trained mental programs instilled by those around you that no longer serve you. The more you practice meditation, the better you will be in the art of witnessing. Soon you will realize that you no longer have to believe in the validity of some of these thoughts. You will realize that you don't have to give in to them at all. Through meditation, now you have the power very few possess. The power to discern between what your aims are and the obstacles to it, which is oftentimes your very own mind.